has been a minute since I sat on this couch and did a monthly reading wrap up. Oh my goodness, do I owe you guys an apology. I did not ever sit down and film my June reading wrap up video. I sat down on this couch to film my July reading wrap up because we're already at the end of July. And as I was sitting down, I was like, you know what? Let's just do a summer reading wrap up of June and July together. 28 books between these 2 months, which is absolutely insane. Or it could possibly be 29. I'm filming this video a day early because I am going out of town tomorrow, so there's a chance I'm gonna finish one more audiobook before the end of the month. So I guess it just depends on if I finish James Tonight by Percival Everett. I wanted to listen to this book for so long and I finally have done it. I've got like 2 hours or so left in the book, so I guess it just depends on if I can get through it today. So if there's a clip for James, then you know that I finished. If not, it'll be in the August reading wrap up. I'm not gonna go get my stack of June reads because they're kind of everywhere. Some are actually not even here anymore because I have to keep some books in storage because we don't have a ton of space here. And also I'm gonna do it like my May reading wrap up video where I'm doing a yes, no, maybe style because 28 books, there is a lot to cover. And I feel like we should just do like a little 1 sentence, 2 sentence so you don't give away the entire book and just let you know whether or not I think they're worth reading with a yes, no, or maybe. If you're new here, hi, I'm Gracie. I do all kinds of stuff, travel, lifestyle, Disney, books. I love it all. You can follow me on my other social medias to stay more up to date. I have to admit, I have been the worst at YouTube. I've kind of just been in a slump. I need to hire an editor. There's just like a lot of things going on in my mind where I can't dedicate all my time to all 3 social medias right now. And I feel like YouTube's kind of fallen off the wagon and that makes me really sad. So I'm going to Disney tomorrow. I'm gonna vlog the entire weekend. Then I have another exciting trip. Gonna vlog that whole thing. I think I'm kind of getting into this season of the next month and a half where I've got a lot going on and a lot to vlog. So I promise to be more up to date here on YouTube as well as best as I can. But without further ado, let's get into my June and July reading wrap up. In the last 2 months of reading, I believe, and don't exactly quote me on this, when you're reading 28, 29 books, sometimes it can be hard to keep track, but I believe that this is the only 5-star read that I gave and so well deserving of it. The Frozen River. Oh my stinging goodness. I just absolutely fell in love with this book. It's a historical fiction set in the late 1700s of a midwife named Martha Ballard. She is such a strong female character. Like I love a colonial era. Like Paul Revere is mentioned in this book as being her husband Ephraim's friend. And there's such a great family dynamic, work dynamic, how women were treated in the late 1700s. Oh, this other doctor comes in. I just want to punch him in the face. The storyline in this book is so strong and I just absolutely loved it. This is a yes from me. Nothing else. Like don't end the video here of course, but like this is my #1 pick for you. Lion Women of Tehran, I'm also going to give a yes. Another really strong book. I so enjoyed it as an audiobook. I'm really loving the strong female main characters. I know I wanted to read like a lot of cheesy summer romances this summer, which I did do, and trust me, I have plenty of recs, but there is something about reading a book about strong women who have overcome difficult situations that's just so wonderful, at least in my opinion, to read. So this is another one where, wow, I just couldn't believe what I was reading. The storyline about it and the female friendship in this book is just so beautiful. I highly recommend this one. Speaking of cheesy summer romances, Ali Hazelwood came out with a new book, Problematic Summer Romance. I ate this book up. It's an age gap romance, which I've never read before, but y'all know I love everything, most everything Ali Hazelwood does. Deep End, what was going on there? Didn't like that book. It was exactly what I wanted out of a romance book set in Italy, and you just like feel these Euro summer romance vibes, and the older brother's best friend, like, give me more. I want to lounge at the pool, have a little frozen drink, and read this book. So good, I'm giving it a yes. Another yes for this Nicholas Sparks book called The Guardian. I actually saw it at a thrift store. I had listened to The Wish by Nicholas Sparks, I think it was last year, and really enjoyed it. There's something about listening to a Nicholas Sparks book that is so good. And I didn't know what The Guardian was about. Not even really when I picked it up at the thrift store. I kind of like glanced at the back, and I ended up actually listening to it as an audiobook, and I donated the physical book downstairs in our little give one, take one like library that we have in our building, which I think is so fun. But I loved Singer, which is like the dog in this book from Julie's late husband, and this is a powerful story of love, of protection. Another one that just kind of like really hits deep, and I do like to listen to books like that, and I gave it a yes. I just loved it. I could not seem to take my AirPods out and put the book down. It was absolutely terrific, not talked about enough. It's a little bit of an older book, but I recommend listening to this one. Hold the Phone, another one you absolutely have to listen to. Ina Garten's memoir, Be Ready When the Luck Happens. I had seen her show since I was a little girl, like in the background of the Food Network, Barefoot Contessa, and I just always loved to see what she was making. I loved when my mom had the Food Network on, and when I saw her memoir pop up in my library app, I was like, sure, like, I thought she was interesting. No, her life story is so cool. I have like this newfound love for her, bought some of her cookbooks off of eBay and have made some of the recipes out of there. I want to like go through them and make some things. I just think she is so interesting. I love her. This is going right on the shelf next to Kelly Bishop's memoir. And you have to listen to this because Ina Garten narrates it and she is just fabulous. Like, I want to meet her someday. Ina Garten, if you're seeing this, please, I love you now. So this is another great one. Even if you like barely know who she is, you will be so inspired by her business acumen, her relationship advice, just everything that she has overcome also in her life. Also hearing about like the behind the scenes of Food Network and how the show came to be is really cool. So I, of course, give this one a yes. I've been handing out too many yeses. Let's hand out a no. I downloaded this, Wrangled Love, on my Kindle. It was like $2 on Kindle. I was like, let me just buy that and see. I love the Swift and Saddled, Rebel Blue Ranch, Cowboy series. This is Wrangled Love. And I felt like this was exactly like a short story that I had read, like one of those Amazon Prime short stories that I cannot think of the name right now. This felt like an absolute replica, like down to the secondhand thrift store of the best friend, the older relationship with the cowboy, the child involved. Like, I really just felt like this was stolen from something else. And I know for a fact that I read that book in 2024 and this came out in 2025. So I know that at some point like a cowboy romance is gonna be like a cowboy romance. You know, things are gonna be similar with the cows and the horses and all that, but something about this felt really fishy to me and I didn't really love it. Another cowboy westerny romance, Flawless by Elsie Silver. I've been wanting to get into Elsie Silver books, but I'm worried I'm gonna become hooked and only read back to back to back to back Elsie Silver books. I'm gonna say this was only okay. I think I gave it 3 stars. It was fine. I enjoyed it. There were steamy parts. Bull riding, like that's different in a cowboy romance western with also, you know, the manager's daughter having to step in, you know, forced proximity, enemies to lovers, kind of a trope. I wasn't obsessed with it. I heard that maybe some of the other books in the series are a little bit better, so I'm gonna forge ahead. I'm gonna keep going, but I'm also kind of grateful that I don't feel the need to go back to back to back to back to back with this series. It's the Chestnut Springs series. A yes, but like with a tentative maybe twinge to it. I think you have to read it sort of to go to the other ones, and if the other ones are better, it's sort of like reading A Court of Thorns and Roses to get to A Court of Mist and Fury, I think, from my understanding what other people have told me. So it's like an yeah, kind of a read. Has Frida McFadden ever been in a yes category for me? It's always a maybe, but when I'm listening to her audiobooks, I only really ever listen to them. I think lately there's been a couple within the past year and a half that I've actually read. I listen to these because her narrators of her audiobooks are awesome. They have me hooked on the story no matter how silly it is. This is another silly one. Like another one of those ones, I thought it was new, but I think it's just republished and re-released. Yeah, it's from 2021. But like re-released in 2025. I thought the motel part was interesting. I thought that there were some twists and turns, but Frida McFadden's always a meh to me. I don't know. But if you do want a good thriller author, I'll give you one that I always give a yes. And that's Mary Kubica. She's Not Sorry. So good. Her books always have me going, what? That's connected? How did that happen? Frida doesn't really do that to me. Mary Kubica absolutely does. And I loved this one. She's Not Sorry. I gave this a yes. The way that this book ties back with the nurse, who's the main character of the story, is actually mind-blowing. Like I read the back again and I reminded myself of what I thought the entire time, and the precise moment when listening, my jaw went, because I didn't expect it. Oh, that's just what Mary Kubica does. I need to add another one of hers to my audiobook list and figure out another one of hers that I haven't read because they're so stinking good. Yes. We're gonna get another note out of the way, and I say it in the kindest way because it is a Disney book. This is the Disney's Bemused. Actually, again, listened to this one, didn't read it, and I just didn't love it. I kind of felt like it was a waste of my time. I know that it's a young adult, like a teen fantasy. This book was gifted to me by Disney in a package, and I saw it, I was like, you know what? I'm about to go to Disney. I was making a road trip over there earlier this week. I was like, let me put this on, and I just didn't love it. So maybe if you have a teenage daughter, like super cute for that, but for me, compared to some of these other reads I've been reading and listening to this month and last month, it's a no for me. I'm gonna lump these next two together because I feel like you can't have one without the other, and they're both yeses for me. Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, Sunrise on the Reaping, the story of Coriolanus Snow, and the story of Hamish Abernathy. And they were both so good. Obviously this movie is out already, so after I finished listening to it, which I ate up this audiobook. I've actually seen the movie before, but I was on a plane coming back from a long trip. Yes, I was paying attention, but I wasn't fully invested, and I flew through this audiobook. Of course, Suzanne Collins, like, I haven't read The Hunger Games in so long, like read them in middle school, and they're so good. So I ate this audiobook up. I went on super long walks just to listen to this. It was a little bit of an unhealthy obsession for a few days, and immediately after finishing it, watched the movie, and I was like, oh, that's when you always know, like, the movie just doesn't do it justice. This book is amazing. So even if you've seen the movie, I highly recommend reading the book. And then Sunrise on the Reaping is becoming a movie next November, and now I can't wait to see it. I always thought Hamish was a very interesting character in The Hunger Games, so hearing how he got to that point, I thought was so cool, and of course, gave it a yes. The writing itself, even if it was a terrible storyline, the writing is so descriptive and so wonderful that all I want to do is read it all day long or listen to it all day long. But the story itself was amazing. I actually think I liked Songbirds and Snakes more than Sunrise on the Reaping. But again, this was still such a good one, and I like how they tied together. Oh my gosh, how am I giving 2 Disney books a no? This one is from June. This is worth fighting for, and it's essentially a modern romance retelling of Mulan, which I love Mulan. I love her story. I love Mulan too. Like, I just love Chinese culture and everything that goes into that. I have since a very young age, but I was so disappointed in this book. I was like, what am I reading? Like, literally, what am I reading about Shang and this accounting firm and the whiskey? And I just felt like there could have been such a better way to retell the story of Mulan, and it made my skin crawl a little bit. So I did really like the Tangled Up in You, which is another one in that series, and that's Rapunzel. I haven't read any more in the series that they're doing, and they're different authors who are writing the book, so perhaps I didn't like that author's writing, and I did like Christina Lauren's writing, who did Tangled Up in You, but I wouldn't recommend this one. The Enchanted Greenhouse, it's actually out now. I got an advanced reader copy through NetGalley, my first ever, and I was so stinking excited for it. It is the second book in the Spell Shop series, or they really intertwine, so I do think you have to read both. It was a hard read for me. I think maybe I picked the wrong time to read the book. Sometimes I think that half of your book's experience is when you're reading it, what your setting is, what you're doing. I just was dragging my feet through this book. Like, I was in the Bahamas on a tropical vacation reading this book, and I think I should have been curled up on the couch with a mug of hot chocolate in the fall reading this fantasy. So I may have to try and do a reread of the duology. I don't know if there's going to be any more, and read it again, because I do think once you get past her sort of weird characters, like a talking sentient plant, I do think that the writing is great and the storytelling is awesome, but I gave it a maybe because I just think I read it at the wrong time. I think I would have loved the story in another point, and I think that's when I was like, okay, I gotta get back to my cheesy summer romances, because when you're sitting and you're baking and you're tanning and you're trying to read about like it being winter outside and the plants are dying because of all this crazy magical stuff, you're like, ugh. It's definitely way more fantasy than most books, so you have to kind of really be into fantasy to like that. I think it's cute. I think I just read it at the wrong time, so it's a maybe. So I did go back to cheesy romance books, Strawberry Patch Pancake House. All of these books by Laurie Gilmore look so innocent on the cover. Whoa, is this a steamy romance? But something about it, and maybe it's the fact that Laurie's last name is Gilmore, but I sort of feel like her small town is Stars Hollow. Like, is it because I'm thinking Gilmore Girls? Like, I just love the small town aspect. The books are always a 3-star for me, but they still end up being a yes because they do exactly what they set out to do. Small town romance, you have some tropes in there, all ends well, and you love the book. And I think Strawberry Patch Pancake House was exactly that. I love the small town, and I will continue reading her books in the Dream Harbor series, because even though they're not 4 or 5-star books, they always just leave me feeling like I feel good about that read. So that's how I felt about Strawberry Patch Pancake House. Take it as a maybe if you really want like a 4-star romance read. Maybe this isn't for you, maybe you don't like small town, but something about it just always does it for me. Ashley Pawson, which I love most of her books. I'm not the biggest fan of 7 Year Slip. Don't sue me for it, but I did love her book, A Novel Love Story. So I was excited for Sounds Like Love to come out. Another small town romance book, but you know, you've got the big star from LA and the mom and pop shop, and of course they've got to save, well, not shop, but concert venue hall. And I loved this story. I loved it. I gave it a yes. It's a cheesy summer romance. romance, and it's all you could ever ask for, and like unexpected workplace romance traveling across the country. It just was cheesy, and I loved every second of it. I give it a yes. One of my favorite romance authors lately is Kennedy Ryan. Her Skyland series has made me fall in love with her writing. It is not a cheesy romance novel. She dives deep into problems, issues. They're not these cheesy tropes that you see in her other books. In the book Can't Get Enough, which is the third in the series, it finally gets to Hendrix. There are some deep topics. Her mother is declining in her health, in her dementia. There's a lot of back and forth, and do I give up business opportunities? She meets this handsome man who's out of a relationship. There are just a lot of deep conversations to be had in her books, and I think that's what sets them apart. They're a little bit of a longer romance book. I think you really get to know the characters. Her books all intertwine. I think her writing is ingenious. I can always picture exactly what she's talking about. I'm obsessed with her. I'm obsessed with this series. You need to start it. It's so good. It's so good. That the words I have for it are yes. In June, I also read Taylor Jenkins Reid's new book, Atmosphere. I had no idea what it was about, although perhaps going to space. I gave this book a maybe because I think, again, I was a little distracted listening to the audiobook, which is never good. And that's kind of an unfair thing to say, but it is the truth, and it's my truth, and it's how I feel about the book. I didn't love it. I thought that the relationships were really rushed. I think that this book needed to be fleshed out a little more. I felt like it was really quick. I think there was a lot of research put into this book about aerospace engineering and about going up to space and everything that women struggled with in the time period. But I just think that our characters were kind of shallow, and I didn't love it. And I just kind of felt like as I was listening to it, I was like, it's really interesting. I love Taylor Jenkins Reid, how she really goes into the detail of what she's doing. Like, you guys know, I was obsessed with Daisy Jones and the Six, listening to it, watching the show on Amazon Prime. Like, I'm a fan of Taylor Jenkins Reid, of a lot of her books. I've read many of her books. I didn't like it. It was a maybe for me. The Night We Lost Him, Laura Dave. I listened to her book back in college, The Last Thing He Told Me, and I remember thinking and this one I felt especially about. I'm gonna give this a maybe. I honestly couldn't tell you much what it's about. Well, I know the dad, they don't know where he went, the cliff, the house, but not a lot of details stand out to me in this book. And I feel like into this audiobook. It wasn't a passive listen, and I just really didn't love it. I think I just gotta stick to Mary Kubica when I really want like a great book on audiobook, when it has to do with mystery or thriller. So this was a maybe for me. Eat, post, like. I was like, this is probably me. I like to eat, I like to post, and I like to like things on social media. This is by Emily Arden Wells. It's actually her debut novel, I found out. I actually saw this I think we were in the Charleston airport, and I saw the cover and I was like, wait a second, this book looks right up my alley. I read this one really fast because I feel like you can just tell there's text, the font is not too small, and I left feeling meh. It was a maybe for me, and I hate that because, you know, you always want a debut novel to do really well. I'm not spoiling anything because I checked the back, but I did think it was like such a strange cliche? I don't know if it's really cliche, but like the female main character, Cassie, her boyfriend James, like dies suddenly in a tragic accident toward the beginning of this book, and she finds out he's leading a double life, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what is this book? What could be going on? Well, this is a little different. This is what I liked about it, is he was a secret restaurant critic. Like, he ran this Instagram, and he was a secret critic with a bunch of different identities, credit cards, wigs, and he would go and review restaurants. And so she takes over his account, accepts an invitation on his behalf to do this whole like month-long tour of Europe, totally like luxury to the extreme. I was reading these things going, how do I get there? All these Michelin star restaurants, which of course I would love to go visit and try and eat. And I won't spoil the rest of the story, but like obviously things go on in this book, and it was a meh for me. It's a maybe. It's the definition of a maybe. I don't think I should spend any more time in this book. Read the back at your own risk. I read a Jessa Hastings book in June, and then she decided to get canceled like at the end of June. The Conditions of Will. I have not read the Magnolia Park series. Now I'm like iffy on if I should start it, if I should read it, based on what's been going on with her talking about like generative AI in writing, which is terrible for authors in the creative community, and I do not support. Can I be completely honest? I gave this book 4 stars. I don't really remember what the book was about. Is it my memory? Is it the book was unmemorable? Couldn't tell you a single thing, but I gave it a yes. And I'm gonna leave it there because I feel like Jessa Hastings does not need any more minutes on this channel. Rachel Gillig, I love her duology, One Dark Window, Two Twisted Crowns. My sister just yesterday texted me, what book should I start? And I was like, absolutely need to start this one. She goes, the back sounds a little weird. But no. You'll love Rachel Gillig. She writes amazing, and she had a new book come out. I picked this one up from Target because when I was at Target and I saw that they had a pink edition, I was like, that's going straight on my bookshelf. I hate these stickers though, so I'm gonna have to peel that off. It's been sitting on my shelf for weeks because I actually read it on my Kindle, but this makes it to the small, teeny tiny portion of a bookshelf that I have that very few books get to go on. And now I gotta make room because the Frozen River and Ina Garten's memoir have to make it on the shelf. I thought this book was a little slow, but when I got to the end I was hooked, and now I'm sad that it is the first book in the series and that I have to wait. It's more of a darker fantasy. There are a little bit of heavier topics in this book, but I thought the adventure throughout, I thought that the setting was really unique. I think that Rachel Gillig does a really good job of coming up with these unique ideas that I feel like I don't read anywhere else, and that's another reason I love her writing. So this is a yes from me. Our Last Wild Days by Anna Bailey. This one was meh. I think I'm gonna give it a maybe. I don't know what I gave it on my Instagram, but I'm gonna say maybe now because it's not as stand out to me. It's set in the Louisiana bayou where the female main character's like long lost friend ends up dead in the bayou, and everyone's wondering what's going on, and more things are happening, more things are appearing. It doesn't stand out to me, so it's gonna be a maybe. Frederick Backman's My Friends was so hyped up to me. It had such great stars, and I give it a maybe. Like, don't kill me. I know that it has a lot of underlying themes, but I also listened to it. So again, take that as you will. I think that when there's deep meaning and I'm listening to it and my brain's not really processing deep meaning, I might miss a few things. But this book wasn't also so stand out-ish to me either. I just felt like, I don't remember what they wrote on the back of the book, but I feel like the entire book is sort of hard to convey in a few sentences. But again, didn't really stand out to me. It's a big friendship book, and it goes back in time, and it talks about these three friends sitting on the pier in this now famous work of art, and it was okay. That's kind of how I feel about the book. It's a maybe for me. Bible Simplified. I'm gonna give this book a yes. I actually was gifted this book by Zach. He reached out to me on DMs. He's like, I've seen your book reviews and I see you're a Christian. I would like you to read this. So if you're a Christian, listen up. And if you're not, really listen up, because I have been going to church, private school my entire life. I haven't read the Bible like fully through, but I know the Bible and the Bible stories. But the way that Zach breaks down the Bible, I learned so much about the way the Bible was written when it was to appeal to that audience, and how we can't take verses out of context, and how different Bible stories mean different things if you look at the way they were originally written. And I'm like, what? I gotta read the Bible in a different way now. And I read just a little bit of this every single day and learned so much, especially if you're new and you're like, I don't know where to start, I don't really know what it's about. You can read this and then read the Bible and sort of get to know it. Or even at the beginning of every chapter, he sort of gives what books and chapters he's talking about, and so you could read those and read through the book and really use this as a study. And if you are already a Christian and you do know the Bible, you may just learn something new about how it was written, for whom it was written, and how to take it. So I thought that this one was excellent, and I gave it a yes. I asked myself after reading Mistakes We Never Made by Hannah Brown last year, and I love her. I met her in person in Tuscaloosa. She went to the University of Alabama. She's so sweet. She's so nice. I just do not like her books. I gave The Four Engagement Rings of Sybil Rain a chance. Even though I did not like her debut novel last year, I still did not like it. So I think if she releases any more books, I'm just gonna have to cut the FOMO and say no, this is a no for me. I just really did not enjoy this romance novel. Another one I felt like was hyped up, The Compound. If you're a fan of Love Island, Big Brother, I used to watch Big Brother so much. I felt like maybe this was more Love Island-esque, which I don't watch, but I've heard about. This is The Compound. It's essentially like reading about a game show in the middle of the desert. A lot goes on in this book. I didn't enjoy it. I felt like it was a waste of my time. Maybe it's because I don't like all the drama and everything that happens with like coupling up in bed at night and like finding, which nothing really happens in this book, but like what happens and how you have to present yourself on TV and these tasks that you have to do to get things. It was kind of messed up, which maybe was the point of the book, like about how these shows are messed up. I'm not sure, but I didn't enjoy this one. I did it. I finished James, and here's what the cover looks like. I listened to this as an audiobook, so I don't have the physical book, but I really enjoyed this one. It's from Jim's perspective from Huckleberry Finn, and it's sort of, you get to see his side of the story, which I haven't read Huckleberry Finn in a very long time. I'm talking maybe one of my AP classes in high school. Wow. wow, because there's a lot of strong language in this book. There's a lot of strong language and of course slave talk, and hearing about how Jim was like, oh, this is how as a slave I talk to other slaves, how I talk to my masters, what I can write, which was very strange at the time for a slave to be able to write horrible, horrific things, but also a literary work of art. A literary work of art. At the point of this recording, I have not exactly finished it, so I don't want to look it up and spoil it myself, but I'm so close to the end, and wow, I'm really, really, really touched by this listen. It really makes you sit here and go, wow. You have to remind yourself that this existed in America at a time, and slaves were like, what states can I go to be free or not? Absolutely terrible, but such a well worth it listen or read. And it's of course won so many Pulitzer Prizes and all sorts of things, and now I see why it has the accolades it does. This is a yes. And we've come to the last book, and I like unintentionally did this, but another incredible read to round out. This one was in July. Layla Motley's The Girls Who Grew Big. Another touching book. Teen moms, rural Panhandle, Florida. What happens when their families find out that they're pregnant in their teenage years? What happens with the baby daddies, I guess you want to call them, and the struggles that these teenage women go through, especially in this rural part of their choices and the things that they have to do. And there's found family, there's drama, there are natural disasters, as Florida does have. It's such a poignant read, such a poignant read. It's a yes. It was so touching. You know, I love to read about experiences that I will never have to try and understand other people. This book is one of those for me. I will never be a teen mom or a woman living in rural Florida and needing to make these decisions for herself at such a young age. So it's very touching and very gut-wrenching all at the same time to read books like these, but they really put things into perspective for me, and I appreciate them so much more. Like, you got the whole spectrum here with the cheesy romances and the really incredible books. There's many points of view. There's a few different of the girls that they go through, and it switches by the chapters, but this is like the book that I read last February, Take My Hand, that I still continually recommend to so many people. This is another one that will add the list of like, you want to read about something that you'll never experience, but that is heartbreaking and definitely happens to women in this country and in the world. It's a heavy hitter. That's one of them. Sorry we didn't end on a lighter note, but those are all of the books I read and listened to in both June and July. I'm glad that I combined these and that I sat down here and I gave you like the yes, no, maybe style. I know this is a bit of a longer video, so thank you for sticking with me. I love reading. I love sharing about reading. I just love it all, and I hope that you guys do too. If you have any book recs for me in August, I'll leave them in the comments down below. I do have a lineup, but I am willing to listen to your recommendations as well and add them to my TBR. If you haven't already, add me on Goodreads. This really does nothing for me, but allows me to stalk what you're reading and add things to my TBR, and you can also stay up to date with what I'm reading. I will always update when I start a book, finish a book, add the stars. We can comment back and forth to each other. I just think it's like another interactive way to get into the book community. If you're just starting out, I only really started reading this much at the beginning of last year, and it has changed my life. I'm like always having, I actually just bought over-ear headphones because I've hated having AirPods like so close to my ears. Over-ear headphones, I'm like always listening to something. I'm about to end this video. When I cook my dinner, I'm putting on my headphones and I'm listening to my book, and I just absolutely love it. So I hope that you can find the joy in reading that I have. If you already do, hey girl. If nobody has told you today, I am so proud of you. Whether you didn't read any books this month, 1, 5, 10, 15 books this month, whatever it is, I'm so proud of you. Don't forget to follow me on my other social medias to stay more up to date. It's probably been really Disney lately, but trust me, by the time you're seeing this, I think there will be a lot of cruise content coming. So I will love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!